Condonation comes condonation. Employers always be alert and prompt in addressing any issues on absenteeism to avoid possible counter argument. Because if kita ambil tindakan, mereka ingat behavior I ini okay, right? All the while semua tak datang, tak ambil tindakan, tak datang, biar. And then once you decided after this class, go back and ambil tindakan. You see all this while you condone what? You know what's condone now? You allow the behavior to continue. But it's okay. Now what you all can do, lepas class ini, whatever you learn, when you have your supervisors meeting, you bagi tahu employees, right? Kongsi, like about taking leave, informing supervisor, kawan-kawan, right? Early notification, dapat approval, baru pergi cuti, all that bagi tahu. Salah satu agenda dalam dunia morning meeting. You have morning meeting every day? You start reduction ada? You talk about operation, you also talk about some policy issues. Dan kalau tak faham apa policy di sini, ada kat sana, tunjuk pakai, go and read. Now on, kami nak semua kerjasama, support each other. Seorang tak datang kerja, we are experiencing issues. So principle of condonation, because kalau you condone and sekali ambil tindakan, the court will think that you are unfair dalam the behavior. So one of the reminder bagi tahu, in 2 consecutive working days, tak datang kerja, don't allow them to go to the production floor, tunggu di bilik mana. You have to meeting with them, with terima dia punya alasan, baru bagi dia masuk buat production. Okay? Conclusion, it is always prudent for employees to communicate clearly when employees communicate misconduct. So, hari ini, I think itu tengok saya berulang kali beritahu apa? Communicate, beritahu what is the policy, kan? And not only communicate, ambil tindakan. Baru mereka faham kelakuan ini tidak diterima oleh majikan saya, right? And if you do root cause analysis, what other thing can you improve in your work environment? Yang disciplinary issue tak selalunya, absenteeism bukan selalunya disiplin. Sometimes it will be other factors. Too much of workload, right? Other people don't come out. I'm burnt out. Suasana kerja, mungkin saya dibuli. Mungkin saya tak puas hati sebab I punya prestasi, even though I work so hard, I don't have promotional opportunities, so macam-macam. You all learn today, right? And if all that can be addressed, then we know that employees, absenteeism is not the reason just because of disciplinary issue. There are other factors. The employee should seek clarification and evidence from absent employee, thereafter decide appropriate action. So that's why now if the employee come back, have the conversation. Why you suddenly, we had the case of John, that why were you absent? Find out how you're doing. After 2 weeks you come back, after that extension, find out how the employee is doing, and then try to address the issue. And this will set an example for all other employees that employee does not tolerate absenteeism or take absenteeism lightly. Okay? Now, we are not ended yet. Now, for each one of you to ask me questions, berkenaan dengan what we have discussed from morning until now. Each one of you have to ask me one question. Semua faham ke? Tahu cara macam mana nak handle issues? Can you talk about how do you handle the issues? Serta-merta you call the employees for meeting? What will you do? What will you do first? Okay. If an employee is absent, right? What will you do? The first thing. What will you do?
Tanya kabar.
Tanya kabar.
Tanya kabar.
No. You actually tracking your attendance, right? Every employee you track. That means you are doing your job as a supervisor. You track. Now, what percentage of come to work? You want to find out why, right? First is that you expect the employee to come and tell you. Now, before we go there, I really check today that maybe all the while you would have control, right? No doubt, you would have allowed them. Tak datang kerja, tak apa, suka hati main kerja, kita supervisor itu okay. Now, if you think you want to change that behavior, what should you do? First is communicate. Bagi tahu juga all the employees, what is your company policy? Faham? Then, which bila boleh bagi tahu? Your operation meeting, and I think operation meeting is the best step. And also tell them where the policies are available for them to read. First step, then if an employee is actually absent, call them out to us. Okay? Ask. Apa sebab kita tak datang kerja? Mengapa tak minta cuti, cuti tahun saja absent? And tell them this is not acceptable. Right? Kelakuan ini, you have to stop. You have to change. You have to apply for leave. Kecuali it's emergency, emergency, there's someone who passed away and they want to take leave, you understand. Just simply my motor doesn't work, I jaga adik buat, I wake up late, that's not a reasonable excuse. And then what would you tell during the meeting? You don't want the behavior to repeat. You also must tell them the consequences. Tahu consequences? Akibat. Apa akan berlaku kalau diulangi? Okay? Must let them know. Faham? And if it is repeated, again you need to have the conversation. And all the time, keep documentation. Keep documentation. Documentation, keep a record of what happened. Now, if it is getting out of hand, you can always talk to HR. What is the next step? And either they want to look at terminating the employee, they need to have all your records by support them with their termination process. Understand? Any other questions from soalan? Semua faham? If we go through this list, did you gain knowledge about absenteeism today? Okay. So now you understand what absenteeism bukan suka hati employee, bukan suka hati employee, you don't want to come to work is absent. That is a misconduct. Whether it's serious, you look at one time or repeated. How to handle absenteeism? Now do you know how to handle absenteeism? No. Do you know? You know, you listen, you heard a lot, you saw maybe case study, right? You did case study, you saw some of the causes of absenteeism, which you role play, and you have this notebook for you to make reference. So these are tools we give you. Tools, not only in the class, to act, to understand cases, we also give you the notebook. How to handle absenteeism of new joinees. So, how do you handle absenteeism of new joinees?
New joinee feedback.
Feedback. What do they say?
Because I did it.
Okay. Maybe it could be the supervisor that contributed. I also shared, right? They are new to the organization. You should make them feel welcome, right? If you start being very hard on them, day 1, day 2, day 3, they will tell you that I don't want to work here, right? It is like anyone, not only the operators, anyone who is coming on board, we want to make sure they have a good onboarding experience. So you think we can do something about it? Operator baru datang, bukanlah saya kata you believe sangat. You have to make sure they are welcome. Assign someone untuk bagi mereka, ajar mereka all the skills. They go through skills training, right? Make sure they go play a role in helping the employee integrate into the company. Kalau tidak, this pattern will continue. Masuk 3 hari, keluar, dah beritahu pun, abscond. And they will tell HR in the form, manager, supervisor, barang. Jarang ke? Of course, dia bagi alasan. Mungkin dia rasa macam saya tidak diterima dalam tim itu. So, you could also be contributing to the reason why new joinees are leaving. And I also reminded tadi, jangan hire out of desperation. Pastikan dia nak sungguh-sungguh nak kerja di sini. Right? Then only you give the job. Kalau mereka itu shopping around for job, masa interview dia kata macam ni, saya jumpa aja nak kawan kata di sini awak. Then you make a decision to whether you want to hire them. Okay, manage the team. Now, let's say an employee is absent. Do you communicate with the team? So and so is absent, and we foresee this absence could be like a week. Kalau you tak payah. I don't know whether you all share the reason. You don't have to share the reason, right? You can say some personal leave of absence. Now I need to, distribute the workload to all of you. I need your support. And if you all are feeling that this is too stretching, too take a responsibility and it will be stretched, I will see what I can do. Right? Temporary resources I will cari atau tidak. You have to get the team's commitment. Remember, we don't want their morale to be affected. Who said this? Team management? Collaboration between production and HR? Ada belajar hari ini bagaimana you boleh collaborate dengan HR? Mula-mula anda membuat tugas anda, ya? Rekod semua simpan, talk to employee semua tu. Bila itu jadi serius, sebelum jadi teruk, talk to HR. Ini adalah issue employees. Bila you jumpa HR, you ada rekod. Apa tindakan you sudah ambil? Bagi peluang ke, ada nasihat ke, counseling ke, apa berubah, talk to HR. So work as a team. And this one provide advice, production, and also provide advice. So masa you talk to employees, you don't advise them. You ask them what is the problem and what do they want to do about your problem. Masa dia kata, aku punya motor tak jalan,